Hello Leo, welcome to my channel. It is my absolute pleasure and such a blessing to be here with you. So thank you for being here with me for your September 2023 Tarotscope. In the description box below, you will find links to all sorts of goodies. You will also find a timestamp if you would like to jump to the start of your reading. Please do keep in mind that this is a collective reading, not a personal reading, so only take what resonates with you and leave the rest. September is a universal 7 month and is often thought of as the spiritual seeker, wise sage, if you will, on the quest for deep inner knowledge. And we are being asked to slow down, dive deep into ourselves, and reflect on our soul's desires and our purpose. We're also being asked to seek divine wisdom in solitude and stillness and allow it to move us. That being said, this is what we are going to be diving into for this month. Let's jump in and see what's showing up for you. Father, Mother, Life, Universe, Spirits, Guides, Angels, our cosmic team, our ancestors, our higher selves, tell us about the overall energy for September 2023 for Leo, please. What is the overall, what is the overall energy for Leo for September 2023? I feel like it's these here, but here's the thing, Leo. I feel as though September for you may have you feeling a bit scattered. This is not the first time that I've attempted your reading, and each time I keep getting this, or I keep feeling like things are kind of all over the place. So you may be feeling almost, it's very interesting because it almost feels like a limbo state in some sense, but it also feels as though you're like everywhere. Your mind may be everywhere, okay? So I do feel as though this could be something that you're working on, or how would we say, working with rather, through the month of September, and perhaps getting still, taking that time out for yourself to get quiet and to be alone could perhaps bring some reprieve for you or some clarity for you. Yeah, it just feels kind of like all over the place. If Leo slows down and listens to their souls and God's callings, what might they hear, please? Thank you. How could integrating what Leo learns help to bring clarity, stability, and or structure into their path, purpose, and life, please? Thank you. That was interesting. And what wisdom do Leo's angels, guides, ancestors, spirit source, universe, God most want to share with them as they move forward? Thank you. Oy. I would also like to just say, Leo, if you are finding that maybe you are scattered or are maybe, what in the world? Maybe finding that you're struggling to kind of get a hold on yourself or your thoughts, your feelings. If you're finding like you're all over the place, I would encourage you to check out your sun, moon, and rising Tarotscopes for this month. I've actually been encouraging all of the signs to do that just because of all of the energy that's taking place with the planets that are in retrograde, with this universal 7 month energy. It may provide a bit more clarity for you. So if you feel called to do that, I would encourage you to do so. Tell us more, please, about the overall energy for September 2023 for Leo. Thank you. Tell us more, please, about what Leo might hear if they slow down and listen to their soul. Thank you. Tell us more, please. How could integrating what Leo learns help to bring clarity, stability, and or structure? Thank you. Tell us more, please, about the whoa. I feel like these, yeah, I just feel like there's a lot happening, Leo, for you this month. Anything we need to know or may have missed about the overall energy? Thank you. Anything we need to know or may have missed about what Leo might hear? Okay. Anything we need to know or may have missed about how integrating what? Thank you. And yep. Anything we need to know or may have missed in regards to the wisdom? Okay. And how would we like to? Yep. Okay. Yeah, Leo, I really feel, again, if you're feeling scattered, I would encourage you to check out your big three, because it may provide a lot more clarity for you. So to start off with your overall energy, we have mirror, who or what is triggering you. Yeah, so it's very interesting because I feel like for some of you, you may not even be fully aware of the fact that you are triggered, right? You may just be feeling like you're in a slump, or like you're out of sorts, or that you feel just really ungrounded or unbalanced, and maybe you aren't sure why. And I feel as though there are triggers that are happening for you that are coming to the surface. And actually, I just got the word bombarded. So you may be feeling as though you're being bombarded by all of these different kinds of energies that maybe feel a bit uncomfortable for you. It may be feeling kind of outside of your norm, right? Perhaps you typically would find yourself to be rather collected, kind of have your finger or a thread on things that are taking place within you. And for whatever reason, this month you may be feeling like that's completely up in the air. So it does feel as though, the overall energy for you is working through these triggers. As they're coming up, taking that time that we're being given to slow down, to reflect, and really looking at where these feelings may be coming from. Yeah, because it just really feels as though there's this feeling of just being all over the place. And I've actually attempted your reading several times, which is interesting because this card has shown up more than once in this exact position and the first card out. So I do feel like, again, if you're feeling scattered, if you're feeling all over the place, this could very well be because there are triggers that I can't even talk right, that are taking place within you that are, again, you may not feel like you're really grasping as such, but it would be worth your while to take the time to go inward and to really figure out where these things are coming from. You also have here, dance with life, do something to change your energy. I mean, it just, so what's very interesting to me is you have the moon here at the top of the card. And it looks like it's a pretty full moon, right? Of course, we can't see the whole thing, but I do feel like there are some illusions that you're working through. And if you look at the beings in this card, this figure here has a darker colored ensemble, and this one over here is a bit lighter. So I feel as though you are working with these aspects of yourself, right? We'll say darker and lighter aspects. And you could be finding that for some of you, there are illusions that are coming to the forefront, coming out of the darkness, as it were. It's very interesting. I don't know why, but and I don't know that I've actually ever experienced this with this card, which I've had for quite some time. It's one of the first decks I've ever got. But the figure here in the darker colored dress has 2 feet on the ground. And the figure here in the lighter colored dress or ensemble has 1 foot on the ground. Okay. So I feel like for some of you, it feels almost as if you, how do I say this? For some of you, you may have experienced things in your life that we might call dark, or negative or bad. And you may find that being in that space has been, in some sense, comfortable for you. You may have felt like you're far more stable, or again kind of comfortable in that space. I feel like for some of you, you've learned how to survive in that energy, and coming into the light feels much more unsteady, because I feel like, again, you have this who or what is triggering you as well. I mean, there's 2 figures in each of these cards, and I feel as though it's super fascinating. I'm getting so much stuff coming in, you guys. Um, it feels as though for some of you, you've probably, or maybe could resonate with, feeling that light within you and wanting to bring it out and wanting to live in it, and wanting or desiring for it to kind of free you. Um, I feel as though there's been this kind of reaching, if you will, for that light within. However, like I was speaking on, I feel as though some of you may have been in a state of survival for a very long time. And so I feel like some of you may have gotten very comfortable there. Um, and that and that's not to say that you're, like, just ignoring the things that you need to be healing or working on, or should be healing or working on, or what have you, but that it's just that you've adapted to always being in survival mode or dealing with that darkness, that you feel like you have 2 feet on the ground, but coming into the light and maintaining that feels much more unsteady, if that makes sense. And so I feel, again, like part of this is diving deeply, taking that time and bringing that lighter side of yourself to the forefront. If you notice, the figure who has 2 feet on the ground and that darker ensemble is at the forefront, and the lighter being balancing on 1 foot is behind. And then we have the moon, right? So it almost feels as though you may have felt kind of trapped between like the darkness and illusion, and trying to bring the light out of yourself, but feeling like you can't hold it, right? Like it's hard to keep that balance. And so I feel like this month for you is about really changing that, right? And it may feel very uncomfortable. It may feel very, very uncomfortable. Um, because for some of you, I feel that there are things, again, that you maybe wouldn't readily recognize as a trigger, or may not see it that way, if you will, but it feels as though this is why that deep dive is necessary. You also have here square, competition, tension, and disharmony. Okay, so for some of you, I feel like there could be this kind of, which we've pretty much been diving into thus far already. There could be this tension and disharmony within yourself, within these facets of yourself, right? Trying to bring that balance in. For others of you, I feel like this may have something to do with the people that are in your life, with those that you are spending your time with or sharing your energy with. And I don't know that you would see it that way. looking at it just right off the cuff, right? I feel like it would take that deeper dive, but I feel as though there could be people in your experience who, how do I say, who almost feel threatened by you, or feel as though that they should be in some sort of competition with you. And you could be triggering them, okay? Or they could be triggering you because perhaps you pick up on, that tension, or that, you know what I'm saying, or that competition. And so this could be a call for you to separate yourself from those individuals. Again, I'm getting so many messages. Some of these are for you within yourself. The different facets of yourself, and for others of you, I feel like this is bringing to the surface some of the things that you experience with the energies of others. But it does feel that either way, that tension and disharmony is being brought to the surface this month for you to reflect on and to change. Okay? Oh, I hope I showed that to you. I'm sorry if I didn't. I mean, yeah, what's really interesting? I was actually just picking up on this energy of, oftentimes I'll refer to those that you are close to as like your circle. And you have a square, because I feel like how would I say? You're in this time where you could be being called to kind of to pay attention to whether or not, and I know this may sound kind of funny, whether or not the people that you are surrounding yourself with are part of your circle, or if you're like standing in a square. I know that may sound, again, may sound very silly, but it's almost like, because that circle is like the energy is going to support you, if that makes sense. It's going to keep going round, and then there are some who, is that energy of that support, that, continuous support, or is it an energy that's kind of boxing you in, trying to have you play small, right? And I do feel like if you resonate with that, you could potentially be experiencing this in the way of, so maybe you have, some people in your life who you share ideas with, or desires with, or dreams with, and they're like, oh well, but that'll never work, or like, well, how would you pull that off though? And it's not coming from a place of, let's try to strategize and plan and like problem solve. It's more of a, like, I don't believe that you can do that. And I feel like, I don't know why I'm getting this, you guys, but I feel like these could be the people that are threatened by your light. I mean, for crying out loud, you are the representation of the sun. The sun is your ruler. Like, that is you. You are the light. And I feel as though there are some who just would rather you didn't embody it, or they, wanted to dim your shine. You do, yeah, it's so freaking fascinating. You do have the Four of Pentacles here, and this is showing up as, again, like, I feel like there are people who are trying to control you. Some of you, this Four of Pentacles energy could be like clinging to things. Where there are things that are trying to change and trying to move in your life, and you could be clinging to those things. But for others, there's this energy here of really like people trying to control you, people trying to block you. Yeah, even through fear, trying to block you through like fear mongering. into staying the same. It is so freaking strange. And I feel like for some of you, this comes from knowing that if you figure out or you step fully into your power, they're going to lose that control over you. It's almost like they want to keep you for themselves. I don't know what this is. Oh my good golly, but you also have the Ace of Swords here. This is that confusion that I was picking up on earlier, that kind of scattered and chaotic energy that I was picking up, you know, through each time I've tried to do this reading, and that I spoke of in the beginning of this one, right? There is, I feel like there, oh, it feels like you could be feeling pulled in a lot of different directions. Okay. And for some, again, this is why all of this triggering is happening. This is why there's this tension or this disharmony that's showing up in your overall energy for this month, because it's trying to show you where these limitations are. Again, where you're being boxed in. And for some of you, it is the conflict that you have within. It is the confusion that you are experiencing within yourself, and are potentially kind of trying to control or blocking yourself from really moving through. But for others of you, this is where others are trying to do this to you. We also have Temperance here. So I feel as though, you guys, this is so, again, I feel like the whole point of this is to bring you into balance. Okay? The whole, like, you may be looking at the situation and, like, what in the actual F is going on? And why am I experiencing all these things? But I feel as though, again, it's coming up to show you where the disharmony is, where the imbalance is, to clear up any of that confusion. So I would encourage you to be patient with yourself. Certainly, I would, encourage you to do your best to keep calm and to take that time to go inward and really try to, how would I say, again, bring balance to those energies, exploring your feminine energy. You have the moon and the sun here. So exploring your feminine energy, whether you're male or female, is irrelevant. Diving in, where are you maybe struggling to surrender or to flow or to allow things? Where are you blocking what you're really feeling? That sort of thing. And then on the masculine aspect, where perhaps could you bring in more of that confidence, that inner strength, that decisiveness, that clarity, those boundaries, and that courage to really and assert that into your experience, right? So, oh my goodness. Yeah, I just feel like, so I feel like these should be over here. Let me just tilt this just a bit, the camera. So I feel like this Four of Pentacles, Ace of Swords, this control, this possessiveness, this blocking of changes, and that confusion should be here, right? Who or what is triggering you? And then do something to change your energy. I feel called to put Temperance over there, because I feel like changing your energy and doing things differently is more likely to bring in that balance for you, to allow you to bring in that harmony, to ease some of that tension. But I feel as though the only way really that you're going to be able to do that is by diving in, right? By going deep, by figuring out where this control is coming from, where this confusion is coming from, where this kind of boxing in is coming from, whether it be yourself or, people in your experience, and then doing something different to, again, bring in that harmony. Okay. you guys, this is wild. If you slow down, Leo, and listen to your souls and God's callings, what might you hear? Yeah, don't dim to fit in. How are you dimming your light in order to fit in? I mean, really, this feels very much to me like what I was talking about, right? So, whether you are holding back because of whatever you're dealing with internally, or if you are allowing energies into your experience via your connections, your relationships, partnerships, etc., where are you dimming your light? Right? I mean, imagine if the sun suddenly got self-conscious, right? Like, there are people who don't like the sun. There are people who complain about the sun, who would rather it not be shining. And like I said, could you imagine if the sun suddenly got self-conscious or suddenly cared, right? So I feel as though that, what you might hear if you listen to that inner voice, or if you listen to what God is calling to you, you could find that you hear this like, what are you doing? You're the fucking sun. Pardon my language, right? But you are the sun. Why are you dimming yourself for other people? It's not your job, Leo, to make people comfortable, right? You also have here Sagittarius, adventurous, free, and philosophical. So, yeah, again, I'm really, the word that's standing out the most to me is free. It's actually kind of flashing like a neon sign to me. And I feel like this is because you're not meant to be boxed in. The sun shines no matter what, right? It doesn't matter if there's clouds. It doesn't matter if people are putting on sunglasses, if people are going inside because they're too hot, if they're complaining. It doesn't matter. The sun shines freely, and you are meant to shine freely. Another interesting thing about this is that in the tarot, Sagittarius is represented by Temperance. You have both of these energies out here. You may have some Sagittarius in your chart, or it may be heavy in your chart. But I mean, this is that energy of, again, shining no matter what. This is about being quite fearless, really, and not giving, or paying any mind to the fears of others. Okay, that's not to say that you shouldn't be working through your own, of course, but this, I don't know why, right? Again, I feel like what you might hear is you're meant to shine freely. Don't dim to fit in. Whether, again, you are imposing this on yourself through your own trauma, your wounding, your programming, that sort of thing, or if it is coming from those that you invite into your energy, I feel like what you might hear, should you slow down and listen, is you're not meant to be hiding your light. You're meant to be letting it shine freely and to find this, how would we say, almost like this middle path, right? Because it's like you don't want to shine so bright that you're arrogant and egotistical. Okay? I mean, that's not cute. That doesn't look good on anyone. But you don't want to dim your light and not be true to yourself, because that's not good for you. Okay? So, of course, take that as it resonates. We also have here the Knight of Pentacles. So I feel like, yeah, this is an energy. I'm getting a couple of things here. One being, it's time to move in the direction that is going to allow you to be most true to yourself. Firstly. Secondly, I feel as though this is not backing down, right? Being unwavering in the responsibility that you have to yourself and the light that you hold within you, that truth that you hold within you, right? Of course, it's going to be or take hard work, okay, to heal the things or to, move away from, or how do we say? Yeah, like to move away from individuals that may be, you know, smothering your light, or it may be or feel, yeah, just kind of the way I'm seeing it is almost like looking out at this situation like, because I feel like for some of you, it may feel like, gosh, I'm just like, when does it ever end? Right? Like, when can I catch a break? When can things just kind of be good for like a long time? Right? So it may feel stressful, or, some like looking at all of the hard work that may be required of you may look very just, I don't know if I like, how am I supposed to do this? Like, what is the word? Daunting. Thank you. Right? But I do feel like you're encouraged to take action, to not just sit on your hands with this one, to take responsibility for your own energy, for your own light, and to be unwavering in your efforts to do that. And that may be what you would hear should you slow down and listen. So, how could integrating what you learn here help to bring clarity, stability, and or structure to your path, purpose, and life? You have Sisterhood of the Rose, Beauty and Devotion, Priestess, Mystic, Teacher. So for some of you, I just feel as though you're meant to be at like the front of the class, right? I feel as though part of this is bringing you to that, or rather bringing you to that center stage of your own life, because I do feel for some of you, you're meant to be that teacher for others in some kind of way. All right, some of you may resonate with being like a light worker or a healer, a spiritual teacher, but it doesn't necessarily have to be that, right? I just feel as though for some of you, this could be part of your path, and stepping into that light, as it were, like not dimming your own light, but rather embodying it fully, could help you to bring clarity to your purpose in that space. I hope that makes sense. I'm going to grab the book and just dive a little bit into this energy and share with you some insight. I feel like it might be helpful. Let's see here. Okay, so again, we're looking at how could integrating what you learn here bring clarity, stability, and or structure to your path, purpose, and life. And again, just because it says Sisterhood of the Rose does not mean that it applies solely to those who are of the feminine or female gender. The Sisterhood of the Rose is a lineage of priestesses and mystics who devoted their lives to serving humanity and seeding light consciousness all over the earth. A cross section of ancient lineages, it is the path of devotion and beauty. Walking this path means being devoted to seeing and creating beauty wherever you go. The rose symbolizes the heart and the sacred geometry of all life. You are being called to notice the beauty around you, particularly in nature, and hear the whispers of Mother Earth. You are being called to spend more time in nature, as all the ancient secrets live there. Mother Earth is constantly whispering. Spend time admiring her creations and you will be rewarded with insight and grace. You are being called to take a little more time to both notice the beauty that exists all around you and contribute to the beauty of the world in your own way, too. This could be through your own creations or in the little things like how you dress to picking flowers for your home. Every time you devote your time to creating beauty, you harmonize the planet a little more, and the shift in vibration can be felt. Surround yourself with beauty and create beauty wherever you go. So I feel part of this is recognizing that light within you and sharing that, right? I mean, in something as simple as how you dress. I also feel, though, that you may find that taking that time to get quiet will bring all of these things, okay? That clarity, that stability, that structure to your path, purpose, and life, right? And you may find that the best way, or one of the ways that you best gain insight, is by getting out into nature, right? But I feel as though part of you shining your light, or not dimming your light and just embodying it, is for you to see that light consciousness, right? To serve humanity, because your unique light is, how do I say, has a purpose here. And we need that, right? Ooh, you have leap. You go first. The universe will catch you. I mean, this is fascinating to me because I feel as though I feel like it could just bring this clarity to you where, again, it's that I'm just going to surrender and do. Okay? I'm just going to surrender and do what God calls me to do, what my soul calls me to do. And that, I feel, could just like, no pun intended, but jumpstart things for you in a new direction. This also, I mean, this looks like the moon behind her, and I noticed that it's behind her and she is leaping in front of it. So it feels almost as though there's, how would I say, almost like taking this step or this leap to get in front of the illusions, to leave the illusions behind. I feel like, again, I feel like this could really bring clarity to you in figuring out or understanding what your what your path and purpose are. Because again, we have that teacher, mystic, priestess energy here, and that when we read the guidebook, service to humanity and seeding light consciousness, and then we have leap. So it's like, you not only that, but just to backstep a little bit, sometimes this temperance energy can be that finding meaning. So I feel like this is all showing up because it's all about you stepping into your purpose, right? However that looks for you. And I feel like this is about clearing away anything that is preventing you from doing that. And if you take the time this month to reflect and to dive deep and to figure out what these things are, and listen to your intuition and listen to God, listen to your heart, listen to your soul, I feel as though you're going to find ways to navigate those things, to work through them. And in so doing, could recognize what it is you're supposed to be doing and have a kind of a clear path, and be willing to take that leap, to take action, right? I hope that makes sense. We have here air, expansive, intellectual, and inquisitive. Yeah. I mean, I'm just I feel like this is probably not the first thing that somebody would have come to mind typically when this card is turned over, but I do read intuitively. And so with this air energy coming through, and the first, I mean, the one of the words that's jumping out the most is that expansive energy, or the word expansive. And I feel as though it's because it's like you're playing small. There, like, things are supposed to be so much bigger than this. Like, you are so much bigger than this. And I feel like there could be some aspect of you that has always kind of felt that, and and wanted to figure out, like, how do I bring that out of myself? How do I make that happen? Because there is this energy of, like, you are not meant to be playing this small for some of you. Like, you're not meant to be sitting on the sidelines of your own life. No, sweets, you're meant to be front and center, standing in the spotlight. I'm very drawn to the fact that we have all of these triangles, triangular shapes showing up. We have it here with Don't Dim to Fit In. We have it with Sisterhood of the Rose, and we have it now. I mean, we kind of have it here at this part of the Sagittarius card as well. And so I do feel like there's this, for some reason, I don't know why, for some, maybe this call to embody that masculine aspect of self, right? Really being assertive, really having that courage, seeking that clarity, creating boundaries, diving in with that inner strength, taking responsibility for self, and moving. I also feel like there's something here about opening your mind to new possibilities. Because again, I feel like whatever it is that you went through in your life, Leo, you have been put in a box. And I feel like you've sat there. Now, that's not to say that you haven't maybe stuck your toe outside of it every once and again. Um, but I feel like for some of you, you've had this um, kind of programming, whether it be through your trauma, your what you've experienced with your family dynamics, or whatever the story is, where people have told you, like, this is who you are, this is all you're ever gonna be, type of thing. And for some of you, I feel like you've been trying to break free from that. And so it feels to me like for some of you, this could be that turning point for you, or this could be what you need in order to really just, right? To really like fill up all the space around you and to move past those limitations. So it's like fill up the box and then grow outside of the box, or expand past those limitations that people have tried to put upon you, or maybe you've put upon yourself. It's really quite interesting to me. You have the King of Cups here. It, so this is really fascinating, because there's this energy here with the King of Cups. It's like balancing your head and your heart space, right? Like having that balance between your emotions and your mind. Not only that, but here's the thing, which, I mean, we have air, so your mind, right? And cups, which is your emotions. So I do, and we're talking about balance anyways. And what's really funny is that, that masculine energy is more of the mind, and that feminine energy is more of the heart or the emotions. So I feel like it's all at play. But what I find to be quite fascinating is that the King of Cups is a very wise energy. Very, very wise. Not only that, but it is an energy that is intuitive, spiritual, psychic, connected. Okay? And so I do feel as though you have much more wisdom than you may give yourself credit for. And some of these things may be coming to the surface, or you may find that you, how would I say, can expand upon that truth, should you allow yourself to do so. Like, you could be gaining clarity on this, right? How wise you truly are, how much wisdom you actually do hold. Um, and bringing that through your being. I also feel like for some of you, you may have felt throughout your life that you, and maybe not your whole life, perhaps for some of you, but you may have felt at points that you are a little bit more in touch with things than maybe some others around you, right? Like, you're able to pick up on certain things. Maybe you find yourself, or would call yourself, clairvoyant or claircognizant or clairaudient, or one of the different clairs. Maybe you've referred to yourself as psychic or a medium or a channeler or an empath or an intuitive or whatever. And I feel like you have far more wisdom than what you're giving yourself credit for. And so integrating what you learn here and no longer hiding the truth of who you actually are, no longer hiding your light, I feel could bring to the forefront, should you choose to leap, should you choose to expand or allow yourself to come out of that box and expand. I feel as though more of that could be coming to the surface. And again, I find it fascinating because you have priestess, mystic, teacher with this psychic, intuitive energy of this King of Cups. So I feel as though there's wisdom that you hold in those areas that could be part of your purpose. Now, of course, not everyone is going to resonate with that. But either way, I feel as though you are far wiser, right? We have intellectual over here, expansive and intellectual. We have King of Cups, which is a very wise energy, very diplomatic, very caring and calm. Again, that balance between the head and heart, that emotional control. And so I feel either way, there is this aspect where it's like you have so much more to offer than what you may be giving yourself credit for. And if you let yourself hear and integrate, acknowledge what you learn in that solitude, in that stillness, and take that and run with it, you could find your entire experience expanding, right? You could find yourself stepping into something much bigger than you have previously. I hope that makes sense. Gosh, that was a very long-winded way of saying that. The energy, Leo, is manifesting in a way that feels very uncertain, because I feel that there are some of you who are uncertain with who you are. And I'm not saying that in all aspects or facets of your life, because I do feel like for some of you, you on some kind of deep level have some sense of understanding about yourself, but I feel as though you may be hiding that. Like you know that it's there, but you don't fully embody it. Okay? So what wisdom, Leo, do your angels, guides, ancestors, spirit, source, universe, God most want to share with you as you move forward? What are you clinging to? We have the crumbling. So, I mean, the September feels like it could be quite a heavy month for you. I mean, we do have who or what is triggering you, do something to change your energy, don't dim to fit in, right? And now we have this crumbling energy, which for me is equivalent to like the Tower in tarot. And so I do feel as though all of this is happening for you to create foundational shifts, for you to experience some sort of breakthrough. And so for some of you, I feel like there could be things that are taking place that feel as though they're falling apart, or may feel like you're sitting in stormy weather. And I feel like this is meant to be shaking you free from that, right? What are you clinging to? Not only that, we have Four of Pentacles, which is a very possessive kind of energy, or controlling kind of energy. I mean, even if you look at here, she's clinging to this purse that she's holding close to her. So it is this energy of what are you clinging on to, right? I feel like the wisdom being shared with you here is pay attention to that. And if you're experiencing this kind of chaos, then it is likely to shake you free from whatever it is you're clinging to. Yeah, to help you to release your fears, okay, and to break free. You have solar eclipse, creation, intention, potential. Yeah, because you, again, like I said, you have so much more potential than what you are likely giving yourself credit for. And I feel as though, God's trying to move you into this space where you are creating from that potential, where you are recognizing that potential and using that as you move. Okay, so that you are no longer blocking your own light. I mean, it's a solar eclipse, right? So I feel as though it's like this is for you to get out of your own way, Leo. We also have here ascendant, appearance, first impression, and mask. Yeah, to release you from the masks. Okay, it's not about, how do I say this? I feel like Spirit's trying to say, who cares what other people think about you? It really doesn't matter. What matters is how you think about yourself, because once you see yourself, or how do I say this? Once you acknowledge your own light and you aren't trying to hide it or mask it, the world, the external world, is going to reflect that back to you. Okay? In some cases, you're just going to aggravate people's, you're just going to aggravate people because your light is so bright, and it is what it is, right? It's not a reflection of you, it's a reflection of them. However, the more you try to mask and hide yourself, the less people are going to accept you, if that makes sense. Right? You're going to experience that tension, that rejection, because you are rejecting yourself. Okay? So I feel as though part of the wisdom to be shared here with you is to take the mask off. Stop playing small. Stop letting people convince you that you're too much. Like, Leo, you're the sun. And you're represented by the lion, which is the king of the jungle. And neither one of those things gives any kind of care to how anybody or anything else thinks about it. Right? It moves how it moves, and who cares if people don't like it? Okay? Now, some maybe would call that egotistical. And there is certainly a line, okay? I'm not going to pretend that there's not. But you're not supposed to play small like that. That's not your job. Right? You're the physical embodiment of the sun. So, take that how it resonates. But again, it is this energy of, take off that mask. Step into your full potential. You have waxing gibbous moon, nurturing, patience, refinement. So fascinating. You have patience coming up yet again. Right? Again, that's temperance energy. And temperance is the representation of Sagittarius in the tarot. And here you have that patience energy again. So I do feel like this is about you being patient with yourself. I do feel like what you learn here, you're being encouraged to nurture, to refine, right? So it's like, don't expect that you're just going to be able to take the mask off and everything's going to be hunky-dory. You have to nurture your own light, your own potential. Okay? It's like, be patient with yourself as you are growing that confidence within, as you are getting more comfortable with not having that mask, right? And not only that, but I feel like there's something here about nurturing your foundation. So like, this is going to take work, which we've talked about with the Knight of Pentacles. You know, I feel like it's not just gonna boom be fixed overnight. We also have here Juno, marriage, commitment, and bonds. Yeah. Who or what are you clinging to? Right? Are there commitments? Are there bonds that you, or you know, have you entered in some of these things where, like I'm getting this energy, okay? Because here's the thing, Leo, y'all are very loyal, right? Very, very loyal. And I feel as though for some of you, it's to your detriment. Because there are some that I feel it's like, it's not that they don't deserve loyalty, okay? It's simply that, um, how do I say this? You being loyal to people and energy and situations that are detrimental to your well-being, to your evolution, to your peace, to your happiness, is basically, you know, you sabotaging yourself. It is not healthy. It is not good for your well-being. And I feel as though, you know, this is where it's like, what are you clinging to? Are there commitments, bonds, or marriage perhaps that you're clinging to that needs to be released in order for you to nurture yourself, in order for you to step into your full potential? Okay, so I mean, take that how it resonates with you, but it really feels as though part of that wisdom that's coming through is like, hey, look at what you're committed to, look at what you're exchanging your energy with, look at what you're being loyal to. Is that helpful in nurturing your potential? Does that bond allow you to show up as your true and authentic self? Does that bond nurture you or no? Right? Seven of Cups. You have options. You have options. Have faith in yourself, okay? You have options here. I feel like you're being called to make some choices, right? And what is best for you? Interestingly, the Seven of Cups can be seen as like searching for purpose, which I find fascinating because you have that Temperance energy with, you know, finding meaning. Not only that, but Sagittarius energy is very philosophical. So, you know, there's that. But I feel as though it's like I feel like Spirit is saying you have options here. You don't have to just stay loyal to, you know, one group of people or one person or whatever the story, you know, just because you feel as though, well, then I'm going to be alone or something like that. Because I feel like the thing is, like, these things are falling apart to show you that you have options, in the sense of things that are going to bring you more fulfillment. Page of Swords in the reverse. I mean, are there people in your life who are all talk, who are deceptive, who manipulate you? Because again, I mean, I feel like, and for some of you, this commitment or this bond could simply be to a certain programming or trauma or something that you've taken on and you've just been clinging to, right? It's just running in your field over and over and over again. But you've got to figure out what that is for you. But I feel as though, here it's like Seven of Cups. Have faith. You have options. You have choices you can make here where you can align with things that are much better suited for you, in your relationships, in regards to your purpose, and examining where you are either deceiving yourself or, talking yourself up and just, hiding behind this mask that you've got it all figured out, or where people are manipulating you and deceiving you and they're, talking like they're in your corner, but they are not, and their energy would show that. So I feel like there's a lot about being, discerning here. Again, like I feel like there could be people in your experience who have that mask on, or where you're wearing a mask for to comfort them. Like I said, your fulfillment, right? Like you have options here. This is about stepping into your full potential, where you are creating an experience that is fulfilling, that creates that inner peace and happiness, that brings you to a new beginning. Things crumbling and falling apart to bring you to a new space, which could ultimately lead to feeling like your dreams are coming true, which could lead to joy. Also, to family. And by the way, family doesn't have to be blood. This family could be people that come into your experience that, allow you to shine your light and are not threatened by what is the word I'm looking for? Yeah, are not threatened by your luminosity. Like they're just, they just bask in it with you. But again, I feel as though part of this wisdom is like, we need to be moving towards those things where you are utilizing the potential that you hold within you, free from any mask, where you are nurturing and refining the things that bring you that fulfillment, that inner peace, that joy, that happiness, and committing to that, right? Because anything that you're committing to that doesn't have that depth is short-lived, right? It'll feel fleeting. Whether that's, when you're not being your true authentic self, the things that you seek to fulfill you don't feel that way. They don't feel fulfilling. And if they do, it's not for very long. And you're always trying to get that next high, right? What's going to fulfill me next? What's going to fulfill me next? What's going to fulfill me next? And instead of doing that, I feel like you could find that you see that within yourself. That high, if you will, comes from within. And so instead of trying to keep moving around, trying to figure out, where the next high is coming from or who the next high is coming from, and being in these situations where you're high 1 minute, low the next, high 1 minute, low the next, because, they're not letting you be you and you don't feel like you can be you and you want to shine your light, but they're telling you don't do that, or maybe you're doing that to yourself, whatever it is. But I feel like, the message here is for you to allow things to fall apart that are going to move you to a place of happiness and peace and joy, fulfillment. This reading has been probably one of the more challenging of the Tarotscopes that I've done so far this month, but certainly seems as though, the energy coming through in the way that it has is showing me that, how chaotic the energy may feel for you this month. And, it does appear to be that, it's not going to come without its challenges, but you certainly, should you allow yourself to step fully into who you truly are, could find that balance, could find that harmony. It's there for you should you choose to let it in. Should you choose to do the work in order to bring that into your experience and to free yourself from the boxes that you or others have set yourself in or set you in, right? Good golly. Leo, I pray that this is helpful for you or valuable for you or has provided insight for you in some way, shape, or form. If something here has resonated for you, please do the YouTube things by liking, sharing, commenting below, or subscribing. It really does help the channel to grow, and I truly, truly appreciate it so very much. Again, do check out your sun, moon, and rising Tarotscopes if you would like some deeper insights. Have a expansive, how would I say, an expansive, informative, thank you, month. Take care of your growing, evolving, beautiful, powerful soul. Peace be with you and within you. And I hope to see you on the next one. Bye.